Welcome everyone to a yoga class for balance today. My name is Sandy and I hope you enjoy this practice. So we're going to begin in a comfortable seat, sitting up tall, and just allow your eyes to close, feel your sitting bones. Take some deep breaths in and out of your nose. Start to check in with your body today, noticing whatever shows up. Any aches or pains, any tightness or tension, just let it all melt away. Let go of any distracting thoughts in your mind. Just staying present with the breath flowing in and out of your nose. Find a sense of peace and ease in your body. And try to stay positive today throughout your practice, just letting go of any negative thoughts, especially when it comes to the balancing postures. Repeating some affirmations of positive, maybe I'm strong, I love and accept myself. Some of those affirmations really help us to get through some of those tougher balancing postures. Let's go ahead and begin. Bring our palms together, thumb knuckles at the heart center. And we'll start with an intention for your practice today, maybe a dedication. And then once you've set your intention, you can let your arms rest gently on your lap. So we're going to talk about what helps us with our balancing. So if you think about our brains are going to be very, what's going to help us learn how to balance. It's going to be our vision, our inner ear, and our proprioception. So first we're going to work on the vision. So I always tell you guys to find a focal point, find your drishti. And that's just so that when you are focused on one spot, instead of looking all around the room, because anytime you're looking around the room, all these visual cues are coming in and they're going into the brain, so it's very distracting. If you're focused on one point, it makes it easier to balance because your brain is just receiving that little bit of information through the eyes. So we'll start out with a little practice for our drishti. So bringing the arm in front of you, we're going to just make a fist, thumbs pointing up towards the ceiling, and you're going to focus your gaze directly on your thumbnail. So your thumbnail, and then we're going to slowly start to move that thumb out to the side. You're going to keep your gaze on it. You're not turning your head, you're just turning your eyes. And then you're going to slowly move that thumb back to center, again, keeping your vision directly on that thumbnail. And then we're going to go over to the other side. Again, we're not turning the head, just turning from the eyeballs. And then slowly bring it back to center. And then once it comes back to center, we're going to bend the elbow. You're going to pull that thumb in towards the nose, tap it, and then pull it away. So you're, again, keeping your gaze right on that thumb. Doing it again, pulling it in, tapping, and then reaching it away. And then you're going to release it, and we're going to join our palms together. We're going to create some heat. So I want you to rub your palms together vigorously so we can create some heat there. And then once you get a good heat going between those hands, we're going to place them over your eyes. So if you're wearing eyeglasses, you could either take them off or just cup your hands over them. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths here, just sending some good energy to our eyes. Breathing in, breathing out. And on that third out breath, you're going to slowly move your hands away from your eyes, keeping your gaze on the palms of your hands as your hands move away. And then you're going to slowly just allow the hands to open and your eyes are going to take in all around you. Okay, so that's just a little exercise you can do for your eyes. Okay, and the next thing we're going to work on is our vestibular system, which is going to be your inner ear. So some of us may have dizziness and stuff that's going on outside of just regular practicing balancing. So we're going to do an exercise that helps us, one, to allow our brains to detect gravity. So if you just simply look up and look down a few times, this just sends messages to our brain to allow the body to know where we are in relation to gravity. Okay, so setting that first. And then the next one we're going to do is allowing the brain to detect rotational movement, and that is you're just turning your head all the way to the right, all the way to the left. And we're going to be doing some rotational movement as well. And sometimes even rotation can throw off our balance. So you do this exercise first before you do any sort of balancing practice. And then we'll come back to center. So rotational and gravity. And then the last one we're going to work is proprioception. And proprioception is just knowing where your body is in space. And the brain does that by just knowing the signals it gets from the muscles, the skin, the tendons, the joints. So you can do a couple of things. You can do some tapping, and I do a lot of tapping in my classes. So we do a lot of this just because we want to know where our body is in space. I usually do it if we're working on a specific body part. We'll do that first. So you can do tapping. You can also do a little bit of like just squeeze and release the muscles like this. You can do both arms if you want. And usually what happens is you have just generally more awareness of that body part that you just touched or tapped or was massaging. So even if you just do this up and down the arms, you can just kind of notice right away, maybe you feel like the arm, you have a little more awareness there. And then when we do balancing, I always work the feet. So I usually have some sort of a foot massage that I incorporate in the practice. We're going to do that when we stand up. We'll just do some work on the feet. So here on the floor, we're just going to do a couple of things, and then we're going to come right up and start moving. So let's just do a few seated cat and cow. So you're just rocking forward and back, and you're using your breath here. So you're breathing in, breathing out, and you want to feel as you're doing this, your sitting bones and tailbone on the ground, or if you're seated in a chair, you're going to feel that same sensation on the chair. So just connecting to the base of our spine, feeling rooted and grounded there. And another thing I want to talk about too as we move into this practice is our thought patterns, because a lot of us get caught up in some negative thoughts, especially when we're going into a balancing posture and we start to get a little worried or stressed about it, and we start to, kind of tell ourselves, I can't do this, I'm not strong enough, I'm not good at balancing. So instead of that, I want you to kind of turn that around and just think of positive thoughts like I am strong, I'm really good at balancing. So whatever it is, I want you to turn those negative thoughts into positive thoughts, because your body's always listening to that. So really important to stay positive. And I'll remind you to do that as we go into the pose. Let's just do one more of these. And then we're going to make our way either to a tabletop, and you can do that with your hands and knees, or you can also use the chair. So you have choices today. So if you're using a chair today, you're just going to place your hands on the chair, your feet on the floor, and then if you're on your hands and knees, or you're going to be using that chair. So we're going to come down, and when you do this, whether you're using the chair or the floor, I want you to press down into your hands, right? So you can really feel those hands on the ground. If you're on tabletop on the floor, just make sure you're pressing your knees and the tops of your feet, and if you're standing, the bottoms of your feet. All right, so we're going to just first take a breath in, and then on your out breath, I want you to use your core muscles. So we're using our core to help us stay strong. Our first balance today is going to be the spinal balance or bird dog position. All right, so take a breath in, exhale, lift up the belly so you can feel your core active. And then we're going to extend the right leg back. Start with the toes down first. So you can press out through the heel, and then you're going to lift the leg up. And then your gaze point's going to be down at the floor between your two hands. And then when you're ready, your left arm is going to reach forward. So we're holding that steady gaze down at the floor. We're reaching the arm and leg away from each other. And you're really strong in your right hand and left leg, right? So you're one that's on the floor. Breathing in and out of the nose. Good, stay here for another breath. And then as you exhale, you're gonna release and come back to tabletop. Okay, so just noticing your body, how that felt. And if you felt a little wobbly, that's okay. You know, just your body has to learn how to do that balancing. All right, so on the other side, we're taking a breath in first. Exhale, you're lifting up the belly. And then your left leg is gonna come back. The toes are gonna come down. So this is your pressing your foot down into the floor. That's your proprioception, right? And then you're lifting it up. So now it has nothing to push against or touch. So your brain has to know where that leg is in space. And then same thing with the hand. Maybe just slide that hand forward as you lift it off the floor, and then keeping that gaze down at the mat. And you're breathing in and breathing out. So you have your visual, you have your proprioception, and then we already set the gravity here, so we're just looking down at the mat. Another breath. And then you're releasing, coming back to that tabletop position. And then we're just gonna do some circles here just to kind of release that from our body. So just take a few circles, maybe in one direction and the other direction, like 2 or 3 times. And then if you're coming from the floor, we're gonna tuck the toes under and we're gonna start to lift the knees up. We're gonna come to downward facing dog pose. And then you can pedal out your feet. So this is another good way to kind of stretch out and get that sensation on the bottoms of your feet. If you're using the chair, you're gonna do the same thing. You're just walking back here and you can pedal out the feet. And so breathing in and out, shaking out the head and neck. And then we're gonna slowly walk those feet up to your hands or up to the chair if you're using the chair to come to a standing forward bend. So you can use a prop here, blocks, chair, or you can hold onto the legs. You can bend your knees. You can sway those hips. All right, and as we come up, we're gonna press down into the 4 corners of our feet. We're gonna lift the belly and we're gonna roll ourselves up to stand. So we're coming all the way up to a standing position. So taking your time to roll up is important too, so we don't get dizzy. And then once you come to standing, we're gonna find our mountain pose. So you're looking down at your feet, you just make sure your feet are parallel, so they look like number 11. And lift and spread your toes, and then you're gonna put your big toe all the way to your pinky toe down on the ground. And we're gonna do an exercise with the eyes closed. So if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, just look down at the floor. Right? So you're standing up and just your eye gaze is gonna be straight down. You're gonna take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, just feel the bottoms of your feet. So you can really feel the difference with your eyes closed because you're closing off all these visual cues. All right, so we're gonna just do a tiny little shift of weight into your left foot. Right, so you don't have to feel like your hips are moving or anything like that. It's very subtle. You're just moving some weight off of the right foot, moving it to the left. And then you're gonna bring it back to center so both of your feet feel equally weighted. And then we're gonna do that subtle shift over to the right foot. So again, it's not a big movement at all. I don't want you to feel like you're gonna fall. So it's very, very tiny. And then you're gonna bring it back to center so you can feel like that weight is equally distributed between both of your feet. And now we're gonna do it forward. So just very subtle. So I don't want you to feel like you're falling forward, but just feel more weight in your toes, less in your heels. And then back to center. And then more weight in your heels, less in your toes. And then back to center. And then once you arrive back to center, we're gonna open the eyes. So that's just a weight shift exercise. And that's something you can do too that does teach your body how to shift the weight and transfer the weight so that, you know, when you're balancing, you have to be able to do that first before you can actually get the foot to come off the floor. All right, so now we're gonna do just a staggered stance exercise. So basically the same thing we just did, except we're gonna do it with a staggered stance. So let's go ahead and put the left foot forward and the right foot back. So it's not like a warrior one pose or anything like that, but your legs are, you know, separated about hip width, maybe a little wider, and both legs are gonna be straight. And I want you to feel that the 4 corners of both of your feet are equally weighted. So it's pretty much the same exercise, except your feet are staggered. And this is what kind of throws people off a little bit more. So pay attention to those feet, pressing down equally. We're gonna shift our weight onto the front leg. So as you do that, you're taking weight off the back foot, and that foot is not coming off the floor, we're just doing a weight shift. The front knee will bend. So that way you can feel like that weight in the back gets a little lighter. And then as you transfer the weight back to center, both of your legs will be straight. And then now you're transferring the weight to the back leg and foot. This leg will bend, and then this foot is going to feel a lot lighter on the floor. And then you're going to come back to center. So that's just the leg stuff and the feet, but we're going to add arms to this. So as you transfer your weight forward, we're going to take the arms like this, and we're going to open them out. So you're just shifting the weight. And as you bring it back to center, the arms are going to, hands will come together. And then as you transfer the weight to the back foot, you're going to pull your hands into your chest. Okay, so I slowed it down a lot. We're going to do a little faster. So you're going to inhale here as the arms go wide. And slowly exhale, you're going to come through the center point and then move so the weight's shifting back. Okay, do that again. Through the center, inhale, weight shifts forward. Through the center, weight shifts back. Good, let's do 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. And 1 more. And this will strengthen your hips, your legs, your feet. And we're going to end in center and relax, and we're going to step our legs together. I'm just going to have you shake that out, because sometimes we just get, maybe one leg feels a little more tired than the other. We can have imbalances in the muscles and all of that. So that'll really help to strengthen it. So before we do the other side, we're going to do an exercise called chair pose, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with. If you have a chair behind you, it's good to have it there, because then it gives you that you're sitting back in the chair, right, like this, instead of chair pose, which I see some people sometimes try to do it, sit in a chair like that. So we're going to reach those hips back as we sit in the chair. So if you back yourself up, if you have a chair nearby, you're going to tap the chair just like this, and then stand back up. Okay, so strengthening those legs. Hands will come to heart center. And if you don't have a chair, don't worry about it. You can come into your chair pose without a chair. And then press down. Let's do 2 more like that. And stand. And you can exhale and inhale. Or you can reverse the breath. Inhale and exhale, lift up. So try that. Let's just do 1 more like that with the exhale, standing up. So exhale as you stand up. All right, and we're going to switch sides, doing that balance practice on the other leg. So this time you're going to bring your right leg forward, your left leg back. And now that you know how to do it, we're going to do it a little faster. Okay? So we're going to go right in with the arms. So you're shifting your weight forward, arms come out. As you exhale, you're coming back to center, transferring the weight to the back leg. Arms come in. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. And last one. Good. And then back to center, release. And then just shake out the legs. All right, and now we're going to add a little balance to our chair pose. So you can, again, if you want to use your chair, it's back there. If you want to use it as a guide, you can do it. All right, hands are coming to heart center. And we're going to sit back into your chair. And then we're going to stand up, and we're going to add, this is the balance part, we're going to add arms reaching up, and you're going to press into the toes, you're lifting up your heels. And then dropping the heels, hands come to heart, sink back into your chair pose. Let's do that again. Reach up. You can inhale as you stretch up. Exhale as you lower the heels and sit back into chair pose. Do 3 more. Inhale and exhale. And you notice that we're doing this slow because I want you to stay really mindful, paying attention to how your body moves, reacts to this work. All right, stand up and release and shake it out. Yeah, because it's good to pay attention now, because we're on our mat, like this is our laboratory. But when we go out there in the world and we're shopping or moving or walking, talking to friends, social distancing, of course, then we're not paying attention usually to the landscape around us. And then that's when we call on our bodies to do that reaction for us. So we do everything, all the work here on our mats to get strong, so that when you do lose your balance, you can catch yourself, right? Your body will know how to do it. So that's why it's really, really important to practice balance. All right, so we are going to do another exercise called triangle pose, which I'm sure you all are familiar with. So you can use your chair. You don't have to. You could also use a block. So let's go ahead and take that left foot. We're going to turn it out 90 degrees, and we're going to step back with the right. You're going to turn that in. So we're going to have two straight legs in your triangle pose, and I want you to try to maintain this length in the side body as we do it. We're going to do some rotation with this one. And we talked about the rotational stuff. Sometimes that can throw us off too. Arms wide, deep breath in. As you exhale, you're shifting your body weight forward, so these hips have to move that way. And then your hand can come to your chair, or you can come to your leg. And we're just reaching up with the opposites. I want you to think about somebody's pulling you up, so you're opening up the side body. And then on your exhalation, we're keeping our gaze point on that thumbnail. We did that thumbnail exercise at the beginning. So keep your gaze, allow your head to turn as you exhale. You're bringing the hand all the way down, and you can bring it to your leg or to the chair. And then as you inhale, you're opening, still keeping your gaze on that thumb. Big breath in, exhale, rotation. So keeping your gaze right on the thumb. That's really hard too, because you tend to get ahead of it or maybe behind it. So try to stay right with it. Good, last one. And then we're going to bend our elbow, place it onto your waist, and you're going to push down to come all the way up. And then we're going to step our foot in and bring our feet together. So you're in your mountain pose. And we're going to go into tree pose. Okay, so you have your chair there. So if you want to use it, or your wall, or whatever it is, some kind of support, it's there for you to use. Right, so we're going to ground really strongly into this left leg. So I want you feeling your hip muscles, your glutes, your entire foot connected. And if you want to use that support, go ahead and hold on to it. And you can place your right hand on your waist or maybe at your heart center. Take a breath. And then we're going to shift the weight onto the leg without jutting out the hip. And we're going to float this leg up. So your right leg will lift, and we're going to turn it out. And we'll start here with it just kind of hanging there. We're going to do some ankle circles. And that's just getting you to get acclimated to having one leg on the ground. And then we're going to tap the inner leg, and then you're going to straighten and tap the floor. All right, so you get a chance to get down on the floor a little bit to catch your balance. And then we're tapping again. So we're just going to do these taps up and down. We'll do 3 more. And you can stay with this tapping if you like it, if you feel more comfortable as you build the strength. And then if not, and you want to push yourself a little bit more, you can hold that. Okay, and if you feel really good here, and only if you feel very balanced, you can take your hand off the chair. Or you can leave it there, and you can take maybe the other arm up. Stay with your breath, and you want to make sure your core is nice and active. You're drawing that all in. Good, last breath. And then you're going to release and come back to mountain pose. And I want you to shake it all out. Shake it out, maybe move your hips a little bit. Shake out the arms. And just release that pose from your body. We're going to do the triangle pose and the tree pose on the other side. So if you want to move your chair, you can, or you can turn around. I'm just going to do this because I have to be facing the camera. All right, so we're standing again in our mountain pose. Take a breath in and out. Feel the 4 corners of both of your feet. Get that proprioception, connect. All right, and then we're going to turn out the leg. So as we turn it out, you're going to have the tops of your toes just right underneath of the chair. And we're going to step out with the left leg. Turn those toes in. 2 straight legs for your triangle pose. Inhale, arms go wide. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, stretch forward. Remember, those left hips move back. Hand comes to chair or to your leg. Right, left arm reaches high. So we're stretching up, reaching up. Gaze is up, so you're looking at your thumbnail. As you exhale, you're bringing it all the way forward, all the way down. Keep your gaze connected to that thumb. On your in-breath, you're taking it back out. So this is really good work for working your eye gaze. Pay attention to what's happening in the feet. Make sure both feet feel equally weighted. 2 more of these. Big in-breath. Exhale, arm comes down. up. And last one down. Good, bend your elbow, place your hand on your waist, press down into your feet and come all the way up. Both hands come to your waist. Let's turn those feet parallel and you're stepping your feet together. All right, so as we prepare for our tree pose, if you're using your support, go ahead and get that in place. Stand in your mountain pose. Find your drishti, so it could be on the floor, it could be on the horizon line, it could be up at the ceiling, but I want you to hold and maintain that gaze. Standing up tall, connecting to this right leg, foot, all the way up to your hip, nice and strong. Deep breath in, exhale, core is nice and tight. We're gonna slowly shift the weight first, then you're just picking up that left leg, turning it out, holding it there. Hand can come to your waist or to heart center. Good, and then we're gonna tap the inner leg and you're gonna tap the floor. Stay with that, a few more. And then if you're ready to hold the pose, you can put your foot on the inner leg or you can stay with this tapping. Right? You're still building that strength in the standing leg. And if you're ready, go ahead and hold it. Hold that gaze point, right, your drishti. Stay with the breath. And if you feel really good here, you can take your hand away from the chair. Maybe keep one hand on the chair, one arm up, or maybe both arms up. And if you start to feel off balance, then grab your chair. It's there, or you can tap. And last 2 breaths. And then exhale, release. Come out of the pose. Stand in your mountain pose. Shake out those legs. And then just close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and exhale it out. So just do a moment here just to check in. Connect with your breath. Maybe give yourself a couple of positive affirmations. I am strong. I'm good at balancing. Whatever it is. I love and accept myself. Okay. All right. So next one we're going to do is going to be a warrior 1, warrior 3. And this one I really love with the chair. So if you do have one nearby, you can use it. The folding chair is the best because you can move it around. If you don't have one, you're just using like a dining room chair or kitchen chair. It's a little heavier to maneuver, but a folding chair is always a good prop to use for yoga. All right, so we are gonna stand behind the chair. So the back of the chair is here. So just get yourself situated. If you don't have a chair, that's fine. You can still use blocks or use a coffee table or an ottoman. It doesn't matter, whatever you have nearby. All right, so we're gonna take a breath in through the nose. And you're going to exhale your breath out. We're going to step back with the left foot, right? So you're just going to step back into the warrior 1 shape. So make sure your feet are staggered, a little bigger staggered than we did at the beginning of class. And you're going to have the front knee bent and the back leg is going to be straight and strong. But your weight is going to be equally distributed still between the front and the back, and your shoulders and hips are in line. So you're not leaning back, you're not leaning forward. We're just straight up and down. And as you exhale, I want you to feel a lifting coming all the way up from your feet, pelvic floor, belly, everything is really strong in your core. You're going to hold this nice toned core throughout this exercise. Arms are reaching high. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths, in and out. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out. Last inhale. And then this time as you exhale, your arms are going to come down. So you're right here. Find a drishti. Before you even move, find your drishti, your focal point. And then we're going to hinge forward from your hips. And let those hands, if you're using a chair, I'm going to have you put your hands here on the back of the chair. All right, so we're moving our body forward. Right now, both of my feet are still firmly connected to the floor. We're going to take this in pieces, so just take your time with it. Don't rush. All right, so now we're going to shift our body a little further forward, and your heel is coming up, not the toes, just the heel. And then you can place your hands on the seat of the chair, right? So you're giving yourself some place to go for support. Gaze is still forward. When you're ready, you're going to lift the back foot up. You have to move your upper body forward even more. And now you have the support of the back of the chair right against your lower belly and your hips. And then you can work with this. You can take your foot and you can lift it and lower it. You can hold it up there. You could even bend and straighten it. Either way, so you're getting some strength in both of your legs, right? So you can choose, we're breathing and we're holding that steady gaze. Let's stay here for 2 more breaths. And then all you're gonna do to come out of it is just bring your foot forward, stretch your hips back, and then slowly walk your hands in, holding on to the back of the chair, and you're returning to mountain pose. Okay, so take a breath in and out. Let it out through the mouth, let go. And then just notice like how the line's felt in your body. And it kind of gives you confidence when you can do it like this with the chair is really helpful. And if you're one that it's like warrior 3 can be such a challenging posture, and you just break it into steps and you use the support, and it makes it a big, big difference in your body. And then it teaches your body to get stronger for this posture. All right, so we're gonna do it on the other side. So we're gonna take a breath in, and then on your out breath, we're gonna step back, this time with our right foot. And your left foot is forward. We're gonna make sure both of your feet feel really weighted. Find that lift and tone in the belly. And then on your in-breath, arms are reaching forward and up. Soften the shoulders. Stay here for 3 deep breaths. So while you're here in this warrior 1, adding some affirmations is good. Just like I'm strong. I love and accept myself. And last breath, you're gonna let those arms come down. And then hands are gonna come to the chair or whatever support you're using. Take a breath and find your drishti. So this is the point where you're gonna find that focal point. Slowly hinge forward. You're gonna lift up the back heel, hands are transitioning down to the seat of the chair. Hold it there for another breath, get yourself situated, and then when you're ready, you're gonna lift your foot up. As your foot lifts up, your body comes forward even more. You're still keeping those wrists and shoulders in line, and your hips and lower belly are gonna come to the back of the chair so you have that support. And you can lift and lower that leg. You can hold it. You can also bend and straighten it. All right, so wherever you are, we're gonna stay for 2 more breaths. Feel really strong in that standing leg. And then lower the foot down, bring it right underneath of the hip. And then transition, coming out of it slow, back to your mountain pose. Once you're there, close your eyes. Deep breath in, and exhale it out. All right, so we are done with the chair for now, and we're gonna stand at the long side of your mat, and we're just gonna take the legs wide apart. Right? So we're just gonna work a little bit more, just with a nice forward fold before we come down to the floor. So let's inhale the arms out wide. Take a breath here, feel really strong in those legs. On your out breath, let's just come down halfway. And then stopping at the halfway point, find a drishti on the floor, reaching those arms apart, lifting that lower belly, lengthening from tailbone to crown. And then hands can transition either to your waist, and you can stay in this half forward fold. If you want, you can bring your hands down to the floor or maybe to blocks. And then your head, your crown of your head is pointing towards the floor. Take a deep breath in and out. And then we're gonna slowly make our way down to the ground, to the floor. So knees come down, and we're gonna come to the seated position. And you can choose to sit up on a prop here if you want. And you can also stay in your chair if you'd like to. We're gonna do a forward fold. So your legs are gonna be extended forward. And we're just gonna reach the arms up nice and high. And then as you exhale, hinge and fold. Actually, you know what? I'll show you guys how to do this with the chair too, because if you have one, this actually is really nice too. So you just have the seat of the chair facing you, and you put your legs underneath of the chair. And then you would just stretch, and then you would just reach towards the chair and just hold on here. So this is actually a really nice way to do a modified seated forward fold. So you can try this if you'd like and see how it feels on your body. And then sometimes people like to actually, bring their arms and rest their head there if you can get to that point, but don't worry if you can't, you just work to your level. Stay with your breath. So whether your hands are resting on your legs or feet or on the chair, just want you to find a place in your body that feels tight or tense, and I want you to send your breath there and soften it. So it could be the shoulders, could be the jaw, could be the belly. Just soften it. So we're doing all this work, and now we're just taking a forward fold, which is very relaxing. Just want everything to release. Got about 2 more breaths here. And as you're staying in this forward fold, just notice as your body starts to get a little softer, it might sink in deeper. Just allow that to happen. And then we're going to take our time to come out of it. So slowly rolling up. And then we're going to bring our feet together into a cobbler pose. So the soles of your feet are going to be together, and we're sitting up tall. And our eye gaze is going to be at our third eye point. So you're basically looking up and in. That's why your eyes are closed, because that could be an uncomfortable position. But soles of your feet together, shoulders are back, eyes are closed. And our breathing is nose all the way down to the base of your spine and back out again. So you're full breathing up and down the spine. Good, and last breath here. And then we're gonna open the eyes and we're gonna let those knees come up. And from here, we're gonna bring our hands behind and we're just gonna windshield wiper those legs back and forth, just releasing any tension in your hips, any tension in the legs. Good. And then we're gonna do one balance, a seated balance, before we come down to the floor. So we're just gonna do a little practice for our boat pose. So I'll just turn sideways. And you're just gonna start seated, and you can do this in the chair too. I'll show you how to do it in the chair if you're using that. So you're sitting up tall, and we're holding on to the fronts of your shins. Okay, so you're gonna find your gaze point. Usually it's a really good one to kind of look like kind of the diagonal line up the wall. Right, so if you look down, it kind of messes up with your neck. So you wanna have your neck long from tailbone to crown. All right, so we're gonna slowly bring those feet in. Your heels are gonna come off the floor. And you're just going to hinge back enough until you can feel that your stomach muscles are engaged. And then this could be your pose, right? If you want to practice maybe picking one foot up at a time, you can. And if you have a chair and you're on the floor, you can have rest it on one of the rungs of the chair, and then it still is supportive there. You can try that. You could also keep pressing your legs up into your hands and your hands down. That creates this isometric contraction, which for whatever reason really helps to engage the core nicely. So we're going to stay there. If you could hold the balance, go ahead and do that. And if you feel really strong, but I don't want you to compromise your form at all, you can take your arms up. But as soon as you start to feel that in your back, I want you holding on. Stay there and breathe. And even in this pose right here, you're going to feel a lot of work. Still stay really strong here. Take another breath, and then you can release. And real quick, I'll show you how you can do this if you're in the chair and you're seated. This is actually very hard in the chair, but I'll show you real quick. You're right at the end, right? You're holding onto the bottom of the chair and you're just hinging back and your feet come up. And this is also a very challenging pose. So if you've ever tried doing boat pose in the chair, that's a good one to practice too. All right, so we're gonna come down to the floor onto your backs. So just gonna get yourself down there, and you only need either a block or if you want to use a folded towel or blanket. We're gonna do that supported pose, the supported bridge pose. Okay, so go ahead and make your way down to the floor. We'll do a couple of active bridges first, and then we'll go into the supported one. So you just want to line up your heels with your sitting bones, and your arms are going to be nice and long by your side. And we're just going to take a breath in through the nose, and as you exhale, let your belly soften here. See if you can soften your shoulders and your upper back and the back of your head. And then press down with the hands and feet. So your feet are very active and your hands are very active. You're pressing down to both of those, and we're just going to let those hips float up. Right, so think about lifting up from your tailbone. And then as you exhale, let the tailbone drop down. We're going to do that again. Lift up from your tailbone and lower. So just think about your tailbone as like a pole and you're just going up and down. So it just feels a little more like neutral on your spine. It's not a tuck or anything like that, just a neutral spine as you lift and lower. And we'll do one more. And you're gonna hold it up there. And while you're up here, we're gonna make little tiny circles. So you're gonna take your hips to the right and then down and then over to the left and then up. So you're just moving in a circle and it's very small, very subtle. Try to relax your glutes here as you do this circle. Okay, and then you're gonna go the other way. So you're gonna go to the left first, then down, then to the right and up. And then just about 3 more of those. And this just feels good on your spine, it feels good on your hips. And then one more. And then you'll come back to center, and then we're gonna lower those hips down. Take your feet wide, let's windshield wiper the legs. And then we're gonna get our feet off of the ground. So you can either use a block or you can use a pillow or folded towel or blanket, whatever you have there. I'm gonna use a blanket so it's close by, and I'm just gonna lift up my hips and put that under. So a tiny little lift like this even feels good, because it helps you to get your legs off the ground. So we're gonna bring the knees in to your chest and then just let them widen out. And then just take a couple of breaths, soften here, maybe rock a little bit right and left. And then if you want to, you could stretch your legs up, both of them. And then once you get your legs up there, we're just gonna externally rotate the whole leg. So you're just turning from the hip. So it's like the whole leg bone moves. And then you're gonna turn the whole leg in. So you're doing internal and external rotation. And this just really helps to release those hips. So let those hips drop down to the ground. Do these little internal, external rotations. So it's not a big movement. You can do this if you're seated in the chair too. Just extend those legs forward and turn your toes in and out. And then we're gonna hold in stillness. Take a breath or two. And then slowly just circle those ankles. So doing all that work standing, just giving your feet and legs a little bit of a break. And then wiggle the toes. And then as you exhale, you're gonna bend your knees one at a time and slowly lower them back down to the mat. Once your feet are down, you can lift up your hips and remove that support. And we're gonna take the legs out wide again. We're gonna go into a twist, right? So if you're twisting in a chair, yours will be a little more active. This is a more passive twist. So arms are gonna go out wide or maybe to a cactus shape. And you're just gonna allow both of your legs to drop over to the right. And we're gonna turn our head to the left. And then just let everything soften. So let your hips, let your lower back, your chest, your ribs, everything softening. Full breath in and out. Good, last breath. And then both your legs are gonna come back to center. We're gonna drop them over to the left this time, and then turn your gaze to the right. So again, just let everything release on this side of your body. Let your hips soften, lower back, shoulders. And then slowly coming back to center. And then once you come back to center, let your knees drop into your chest. And then just give your hands like right on top of your shins. Let's do a little bit of rocking. Maybe some circles. Give your back a little massage. Go the other way. And then we'll move into happy baby pose. So a couple options. You can hold on to your ankles or shins. You can hold on to your feet. Or you could wrap your arms underneath the shins and just hold on to your outer ankles. So wherever you are, just add a little rocking. Eyes are closed, just let everything soften. And then we're going to release. Let those arms stretch up toward the ceiling. Let your legs stretch up. And we're going to circle the ankles and the wrists. And then just take it nice and slow. Just give yourself a little extra TLC in the wrists and the ankles. And then we're going to slowly just shake everything out. Shake out the arms, shake out the legs. So you're just letting go of any tension in your body before we move into Shavasana. So just remember that Shavasana is the most important posture. So I want you to take extra care in how you set yourself up for this posture. So grab your blankets, grab your pillows, whatever you have. You can also use your chair. If you're on the floor, you could put your legs up on the chair and just take like an astronaut's pose. You could just do legs up the wall. If you have a wall nearby, just send your legs up. It's just really nice to get your feet elevated. So if you have blocks, you could put your feet up on blocks and just give your feet a little extra TLC because they do really help us when they're balancing. So just give them a little extra love. And then supporting your head and neck. So maybe you take a nice pillow so that your head feels supported and your neck feels supported. And if you're sitting in a chair, just make sure you're comfortable. You can elevate your legs as well. Put them up on a block or an ottoman if you have one nearby. And then just allow your eyes to close. And then just check in with your body, make sure that it feels comfortable. And if you do need an extra support, go ahead and grab it now. I don't want you to stay in the pose if you're going to be constantly focused on what's not comfortable. So fix it now at the beginning so that you can rest with ease throughout the entire pose. Okay, now once you're ready, just allow your eyes to close. And take a deep breath in through the nose and then sigh it out through your mouth. So you can have an audible sigh here. Open your mouth. Just let it go. A little smile on your face. And then just let your legs and your feet just release any tension there. So you want to soften your toes, the bottoms of your feet, the tops of your feet. Relax your ankles, your shins, your calves, and your knees. And then just let your thighs release, softening the muscles around the bones. And then just softening from the tailbone, sitting bone, up to your sacrum, releasing that lower back. And then softening the front of your hips and your lower belly. And then moving up to the ribs, you just want to soften around the bottom ribs, up to the sternum and the collarbones. And around to the side ribs to your back, your mid-back, upper back, shoulder blades all release. And then from the tops of your shoulders, let that relaxation trickle down all the way to those fingertips. Let the palms of your hands soften, relaxing the wrists and the forearms, your elbows, and your upper arms. And then just swallow as you soften your throat. Feel your neck releasing all that tension around the neck, up into the head. Let your top of your head, the crown of your head soften. And then feel that relaxation moving down into your forehead and your eyebrows. Let your eyes relax heavy into their sockets. Soften from the inner corner to the outer corners of your eyes. Relax your temples, your ears. Unclench your jaw. And let your tongue rest gently in your mouth, maybe taking the tongue gliding along the front of your teeth. And then just let the tip of your tongue rest at the top of your mouth. And then feel your breath as it flows in and out of your nose. Feel like the breath is just caressing you as it flows in and out. Allow your entire body to be completely relaxed, so that all there is the breath, and that everything else fades to the background. Noises, distractions, thoughts, breathing in and out. Slowly start to bring your awareness back into your body, inviting movement into your fingers and toes, and then spreading that movement up into the arms and the legs. Deepening your breath, maybe a stretch as if you just woke up for the first time today. And then bending your knees, maybe hugging them into your chest or just windshield wiper them right and left. And then as you're ready, you can slowly roll to your right. Easing yourself up into a comfortable seat as you're ready. And then once you arrive in your seat, just simply close your eyes and just go inward. Just checking in, noticing your thoughts, noticing your body, noticing your breath. And then we'll join our palms together, thumb knuckles at the heart center. And let's return to your intention or dedication for your practice today. And then take a moment to be grateful for being here and sharing this practice. And on your next in-breath, thumb knuckles will move up to your third eye point, the space between your eyebrows. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much.